Who will be relegated this season? Who will win this season? Well, let's find out. What's going on, guys? ¿Cómo están? And welcome you all back again to another video here today on the channel. And today we'll be taking a look at my Premier League predictions for this season. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to drop us a like and leave us a subscribe. But above all, I want to know your thoughts on your Premier League predictions for this season. If you disagree with any club I put in any position, be sure to leave your argument for that club in the comment box down below. This may be a long video, so let's get right to it. So let's start off with Huddersfield Town at the bottom. I gotta say that I don't believe Huddersfield have done enough in this transfer window to improve and secure their Premier League position for next season. They have brought in some amazing players like Steve Mounier, they have brought Laurent Puerte from Porto, they secured the signing from Aaron Muy and also brought in a guy from Copenhagen. I think he was their captain, so he may be one of the best players of that team currently. In the long run, you need to have some squad depth and also quality to stay in the Premier League, and for now I think that Huddersfield Town doesn't have enough. They have some very good players like Aaron Muy in the middle. I think he's going to be amazing, but he's going to need more around him if Huddersfield want to stay in the Premier League for at least one season. So in 19th position, we got Brighton Hove Albion. They brought in Pascal Gross, which is one of the best playmakers in the Bundesliga last season, to be honest. And they also brought in David Proper, which is a proper signing. And yeah, if they work very nicely together, Proper is more of a box-to-box, also likes to attack, but Pascal Gross is like a deep line playmaker. In that sense, they could contribute and play very, very nicely with someone like, I don't know, a CDM if they have one. I'm not too sure about their squad right now in my mind, but if they do, they're going to be able to have a very nice, well, a very nice and decent midfield. However, where they're lacking is the other two parts of the team. They need, I think, a better center back or improve their fullbacks. And up top, I think they're gonna struggle the most because really they have Glenn Murray. I think he's 33 years old right now, and they also have the likes of Hemed and also a guy by the name of Baldock. And those strikers, I'm not too sure if they're gonna cut it for the Premier League. Right now, currently, they've signed David Proper. That was his last signing. So if you're watching this later on, maybe they sign a new striker and maybe they can stay in the Premier League, but for now, if they don't fix the striker problem in their team, I think they're going down. And now in the 18th position, I've gone with Burnley. And I gotta say that Burnley had a very decent season last season. However, this season I think it may be the last for them in the Premier League currently. Most importantly because they currently agreed a deal for Andre Gray. And Andre Gray is their primary striker, so if he's gone, I don't see many ways for them to get in goals. They got the likes of James Cork from Swansea City, which definitely could shore up the midfield, but they also lost crucial player like Michael Keane. So overall, in that sense, I think that Burnley may struggle if they want to keep competing for the likes of the Premier League. So by that sense, I think that Burnley may go down this season. In the 17th position, I've gone on with Swansea City. And I think that actually this position and the 18th position may change a lot. And that is because if Gylfi Sigurdsson leaves Swansea City this transfer window and moves to Everton or some other club, I think that Swansea City may struggle a lot within this season. I think they're going to be either way scraping for relegation, but if they keep Sigurdsson, they're most likely going to survive. He's a player that can create chances out of zero, he has very good crosses, but most importantly, one hell of a free kick. So if that guy stays, he may scrape them 1 or even 3 points in some situations. But if he goes, I don't think their squad has enough to keep them up in the Premier League. They also brought the likes of Roque Mesa, which is a sort of defensive-minded midfielder like Kante. They also brought, they have Tammy Abraham on loan from Chelsea, which is a very good player, looks very decent. He scored many goals, I think, in Bristol City last season. So if he actually managed to start a very good run of form, we may see something very good improve. But overall, I don't think that they're going to have a very good season if they lose Sigurdsson. And in 16th position, I've gone on with Stoke City. And I gotta say that Stoke City is maybe quite of a risk if putting them in a 16th position, but I actually think that's where they're gonna finish this season. I mean, Mark Hughes has always made their teams sort of hard to beat within the Premier League, the same as Tony Pulis with West Brom, but I gotta be honest, they've lost Marco Arnautovic, and probably one of the best players. He left on for West Ham. West Ham are not even a top 6 club, and he left to West Ham, so that tells you something. I mean, they have still retained the likes of Xherdan Shaqiri, and he needs to provide a very big season if they want to move forward, but I don't think he has what he's capable of to carry a team on his back. But they still need to improve a lot of different parts for their squad. What Marquinhos is doing here is doing the tactic of trying to defend well, but actually when they need to score, I'm not sure if that's going to be the best position. And in that sense, definitely Stoke City are going to at least stay in the 16th position, because if they have draw after draw after draw, they're going to have a very low sum of points by the end coming next season. In 15th position, I've gone on with Crystal Palace, and I gotta say that they brought in a very good manager in Frank de Boer. He was, I think, unfairly kicked out of Inter before joining Crystal Palace, and that just says a lot. I think that Frank de Boer is that sort of manager that really doesn't have a huge ego, but is very good when it comes to managing players, and also very good when needs to scraping results with their squad. And I think that Crystal Palace may benefit a lot from his style of play. He needs to try to implement basically 1 year, try to take this squad forward, and if he manages to retain the likes of Wilfred Zaha and also Christian Benteke, probably he will have a very, very good season. He also brought the likes of Ruben Loftus-Cheek from Chelsea, which he's definitely bound to have a very good season, because I think he's ready to move on to that step of a first-team player. In a club like Crystal Palace, he'll be very good. He may perform a job like Jason Puncheon did last season, being that sort of midfielder but also likes to attack, but being very good to come back and defend as well. They also brought the likes of Jairo Riedewald from Ajax, which is a laughing stock between me and my friends because FIFA stuff. But I gotta say that in real life, Jairo Riedewald is actually pretty decent. He's a versatile player that can play as a left back, but also a center back, and I most definitely think Frank de Boer may play a back three, where he may play the left center back, sort of Kolasinac will do at Arsenal. And if Riedewald actually performs good in that system, I think he may develop into a very, very good center back, and I think he may be the rise of a new center back, sort of the likes of Virgil van Dijk. So overall, I'm gonna say Crystal Palace in the 15th position. In 14th position, I've gone on with Watford. And I think this may be finally the year where Watford not really need to kick on a manager for the first season in a row. I think that Marco Silva may actually be the first to stay for more than 1 year. I gotta say that Marco Silva for me is a manager that has impressed a lot in the recent years. When he came to Hull City, he completely revolutionized. I think if he had at least 1 more week or 2 more weeks, he would have been able to save Hull City from relegation. And that says a lot. With a club and their squad of Hull City, he have actually done very, very nicely. So imagine when he have actually done with a mid-table team in Watford. I think that Watford overall, they need to learn from their previous mistakes. They brought in players which really don't fit into their squad mainly, just because they want to be this club trying to sign the best talent here and there. And they actually need to start signing decent players. They need to start signing players that can actually do a job in, a week out. And in that sense, I think Marco Silva knows exactly what it takes. He brings in the likes of Andre Gray from Burnley, he brings in the likes of Naciano Chalobah from Chelsea, and also he brought a Brazilian by the name of Richardson, if I'm not wrong, from Fluminense. I don't know him at all, but maybe Richardson may be good. I think that he may be a player sort of like Niang did last season for Watford, and it actually worked very, very nicely. So in that sense, I think that Watford may end up 14th, if not, maybe a little bit higher, but I think that depends on Watford and what players they can bring on to improve their squad even more. I think many of you may be thinking right now, where the hell have this guy put on Newcastle? And well, Newcastle is in 13th position. I think that actually Newcastle have done very nice business until now. I think Rafa Benitez is a huge manager for them, basically for a squad, a club for the size of Newcastle. Rafa Benitez is one hell of a bargain. And basically if Newcastle brings in more players that Rafa Benitez really likes, I think that they may improve a lot, basically not because of quality, but because we're going to be playing on like a team. And I think that's something Rafa Benitez squad always had, and I think that Rafa Benitez will try to incorporate that into Newcastle. He brought in the likes of Javier Manquillo, who was purely on loan from Sunderland, believe it or not, but he also brought in the likes of Mikel Merino from Dortmund on a season-long loan. He also brought the likes of Christian Atsu permanently from Chelsea, and he brought in some guy called Florian Lejuene from Eibar, who was purely a Manchester City graduate, so that may be quite a player. he's also being linked to the likes of Lucas Perez and also from Jose Lu, I think from Stoke City. And if he gets even more players than that, I think that Newcastle may have a very nice squad that could work very nicely in the Premier League and would definitely cement them in the middle of the park. So in that sense, I think Rafa Benitez could completely take Newcastle into a whole new level. I think it may not be quite a surprise seeing them competing for European spots probably in 2 seasons. In 2 seasons, I think Newcastle will be competing for Europa League. And if Rafa Benitez achieves that with this club, it will be amazing. In 12th position, I've gone on with West Brom. I gotta say that the side from Tony Pulis may continue their very impressive season they had last year and finish in 12th position. I think that they have brought a very good player in JF Rodriguez. If he can stay fit, definitely he will be able to score goals, but most importantly, add a little bit of flexibility to their play. In that sense, I think they're going to finish in 12th position because they're one hell of a team to beat. In 11th position, I've gone on with Southampton. And I gotta say that Southampton just impressed me every single time with the players they bring in. And this season they have brought in Mario Lemina from Juventus on a record club transfer fee. And I gotta say that Lemina is a very, very decent player, and for him playing in the likes of Southampton, he was being linked to Valencia and then to Southampton. I think that they have backed themselves a very decent midfielder. So I gotta say that Southampton know how to do a little bit of business. However, I think they're gonna struggle a little bit in their center back position. Their fullbacks are probably one of the best in the leagues with Cedric Suarez and also Ryan Bertrand. But most importantly, if Virgil van Dijk leaves this summer, I think they're gonna struggle a little bit. I think they're gonna struggle if he goes to Liverpool or to Chelsea. So I better say that for Southampton, they need to get a center back in. They need to get some sort of center back that will guarantee them a very, very good position this league as well. I gotta say that one of the best teams in La Liga, the way they're played, was Deportivo Alavés. Alavés managed to stay in the La Liga once again. They finished a very good middle of the park position for a newly promoted team, something that you really don't see with a new club coming into La Liga. And they've played very nice football. They beat Barcelona. Let's remember, Deportivo Alavés under Pellegrino beat Barcelona. So if Marino Pellegrino can translate that to Southampton, I think it will be a very good improvement. So I gotta say that Southampton finishing 11 is not too much of a stretch. In number 10, we have the former champions of the Premier League, and that is Leicester City. I gotta say that Leicester City, although they didn't have a very nice season last season, when Craig Shakespeare came in, he actually did very, very nicely. I think that a very good signing with Kelechi Iheanacho will prove to be one hell of a player. Iheanacho has one of the best goal-to ratio in the Premier League ever. So it wouldn't be a surprise for him to come in off the bench and actually score many goals for Leicester City this season. Another really good signing for them is the signing of Vicente Iborra from Sevilla. Iborra, for being a big lad, for being one hell of a defensive midfielder, he knows how to get up the field and score. I mean, this guy is like a Kante, but Kante like on steroids. This guy is huge, and he's also, well, he's bulky and he likes to play a lot with the ball in the middle of the park. He's a very good dribbler. He likes a lot to defend and get rough into tackles, but he's also very clinical and also very decisive with his tackles. So he doesn't get too many red cards or yellow cards. He's a very disciplined player, and he's also very tall, and he has one hell of a shot. So I gotta say that that signing for Vicente Iborra is like trying to reinvent that Kante role. And I think that Iborra may do very nicely for Leicester City, especially for his physicality. But also I think Leicester City needs a better defense. I gotta say that the signing from Harry Maguire was a good one from Hull City, but I think they need someone else. I think they need a young foreign defender that may come in and actually try something different with their back line. Because having Robert Huth and also Wes Morgan for 3 seasons in a row may be proved to be something that may not work as good. So I gotta say that if they improve their defense a little bit more, I think Leicester City will have a very, very nice squad and a very good season. In number 9, we have Bournemouth, which surprisingly they're here in the upper half of the table. And Bournemouth, I gotta say, they have a very, very nice manager in Eddie Howe. and he knows how to manage. I gotta say, he's a very good young manager for the English club. Bournemouth doesn't have the best squad, but they made some good, one hell of incorporations this transfer window. They brought in Asmir Begovic from Chelsea, very good goalkeeper, and I think that's going to save them many points. They also brought Nathan Ake. We saw how Ake played in Bournemouth, so much very good that made Chelsea recall him back to the squad, and Ake being here now permanently can just grow and become a very good center back. And then they also brought in the likes of Jermaine Defoe coming into Bournemouth can just score many goals. He may be a veteran player, but for him trying to improve or maybe even inspire strikers like Callum Wilson and Benny Cafobe could be a very big important thing for Bournemouth this season. And if Bournemouth managed to get the likes of Jorginho, which is this sort of playmaker, box-to-box, good defender, but also very good attacking and very quick defender, something that we don't see a lot. He reminds me a lot of a Wilshere, but also he knows how to defend. I mean, this guy gets greedy, this guy gets dirty, and Jorginho coming into Bournemouth could just free up space for someone like Harry Arthur and someone in like who was their other center back? I don't know. They had another center midfielder. If they managed to bring in Jorginho, it will be one hell of a signing for Bournemouth. And I gotta say that for now, Bournemouth are very nicely in 9th position. In number 8, we have West Ham United. The Hammers have made 4 amazing signings. First of all, they have Pablo Zabaleta in right back position. Who the hell thought of bringing in Alvaro Arbolea for that position last season? He needs to get fired right now. They also got Joe Hart, amazing player, to be honest. Joe Hart, amazing goalkeeper. Maybe not suited to Pep Guardiola, but definitely suited for Slaven Bilic. They brought in the likes of Javier Hernandez Chicharito. And Chicharito, my God, Chichadios is going to be able to do many things for West Ham this season. And they also got a very nice player that will be able to provide Chicharito, and that is Arnautovic. Marco Arnautovic comes from Stoke City, probably their best player, like I said previously, and Arnautovic, one hell of a player, to be honest. Arnautovic coming into West Ham, that's a very nice signing. They are depleting one rival and they're bringing in a new player. Went into their new stadium. This season may be their season. I mean their season to get 8th, not more. Don't get excited, but 8th is just fine for one hell of a squad they have right now. West Ham United, well done. In 7th position, we have one of the club which I think is going to be the revelation this season, and that is Everton Football Club from Merseyside, Liverpool. And I gotta say that Everton is bringing so many quality to their squad. They have brought in Jordan Pickford, really young, can stay up at least for 8 years at Everton. Michael Keane, 8 years at Everton. They brought in Davy Klaassen, not 8 years, but very decent midfielder. A transfer that has flown under the radar, and that is Sandro Ramirez. Great start for Everton, and I think he's going to be a very nice addition to their squad. But most importantly, because they have another player coming in, and that is the likes of Wayne Rooney to their squad. My God, Everton are making one hell of a transfer window. So for now, Everton 7th position, because I think the clubs above them may be a little bit too much for them to compete right now. But I may think there may be a surprise package. I think Everton may be the surprise package this season, and they may get into European football, and we may see one of the top 6 coming out of Europe. So now, guys, the top 6 of the Premier League this season, I'm going to go with, first of all, Chelsea. Number 6, I'm putting Chelsea, the former champions. And why is that? I think that they're going to be hindered by many different things this season. I don't think, honestly, that Chelsea will have a good season, and these are the reasons why. First of all, I think they made a very bad decision letting Costa go. I think Alvaro Morata is nowhere near Costa this season, and I think they made a bad decision with Conte being able to kick out one of their best players just out the door with a text. The other reason is that, well, their transfers, basically, they're not good enough. I think that they made mere replacements. They haven't increased their squad. They had a thin squad last season, and now they just replaced. They let Manic go, and they bring on Bakayoko 1-for-1. They let out Nathan Ake. They let out this guy of Suma for loan, and they just bring Rudiger. Then they lose 2 and they bring 1. What there's no sense into the squad. They need to bring in new fullbacks as well. I think Victor Moses has done a good job, but you could bring a better player in that position. Marcos Alonso, definitely good player, but you could bring someone more in. You need to start rotating. What happens if Victor Moses get injured? What happens if Marcos Alonso get injured? Chelsea just don't have enough to compete right now for a new title. In number 5, I have Liverpool. And I have Liverpool because one reason. I put Liverpool in 5th position because I think Coutinho is going to leave for Barcelona. I'm not saying this from a point of view of Barcelonista, but definitely as a Barcelona fan, I just see Coutinho coming to Barcelona. I think it's logical. To be honest, I'm not in favor of this transfer. I don't think Coutinho will do well in Barcelona. He may do, well, decently. I mean, he could fit in. He's an amazing player. But I think Barcelona should get another type of midfielder, not Coutinho. Imagine the squad of Roberto Firmino, Coutinho, Salah, and then Mane. My God, that front 4 is amazing. It's a very, very good squad if Coutinho stays. And if he stays, I think Liverpool may end up in the top 3. But if Coutinho goes, that's another different story. In 4th, we have Arsenal Football Club. And I gotta say that Arsenal this season may do very, very nicely. Wenger has confirmed he most likely wants to play the youngsters in the Europa League. So in that sense, I think they're gonna have a very, very good squad. Just like you're watching on screen right now throughout the whole of the video, I think that Arsenal squad is just quality. With the addition of Kolasinac, free transfer for that guy could have easily cost like 14 million. Young, strong, fast, good technical on the ball. Kolasinac is an amazing left back, and for Arsenal getting him on a free transfer, are you mad? He's amazing. I gotta say, very good addition from Wenger in that sense. I'm bringing in Lacazette, the player they needed. They needed a striker, and Wenger delivered. I'm not Wenger in. If I were an Arsenal fan, I would say Wenger out because I think his time's up, but let's be sensible here. Wenger has done the job of bringing new players in. He has done the job of bringing amazing quality, and he has done the job of improving the squad. And that's something that he was asked to do, and he has delivered, so we cannot really be mad about that. Lacazette is one hell of a signing. I think he's gonna be better than Morata. I think he's gonna be better than Lukaku. I think Lacazette can score so many goals in the league. I think he's gonna be amazing. I think he may be up there with the top 5 goal scorers. I think that Arsenal right now is 8th of August. Alexis Sanchez has not left yet, and also may renew his contract. Oxlade-Chamberlain, what a name. He's also staying at the club. So I don't see why Arsenal may not compete. I don't see why. Arsenal has an amazing squad right now. If they remain with Sanchez, with Ozil, with Oxlade-Chamberlain, they have an amazing squad. And now for the top 3, we have in 3rd, Tottenham Hotspurs. And this is the club I support in the Premier League. I think they have one hell of a starting 11, to be honest. Even with Kyle Walker gone to Manchester City, I'm now hearing reports that they may be in for João Cancelo. João Cancelo, one hell of a right back. I like their transfer policy. They're progressing their squad. They have a very young quality squad. I think probably have the second best first 11 in the league. To be honest, amazing defense. Alderweireld and Jan Vertonghen. But the problem comes in when they take a look at their depth. When you take a look at the players that can replace those wonderful starting 11s, you don't see much. Spurs need to do more than just applying pressure. They need to get pressure applied on them. They need to be racing for that top spot. They have done that in the last 2 seasons. And if they manage to do that one more season in a row, I think that Spurs may be titled one of the best teams in the Premier League right now. So from now, you can guess that the 2 final clubs in the top 2 are going to be the Manchester clubs. In one side, we have City, very good addition from Guardiola, bringing so many players in. I mean, they paid a lot, but really, who cares if you have a lot of additions? And in the other, you have Manchester United, a club that has improved crucially on on specific places within the squad that they needed. And it has been a very difficult thing for me to decide on which of these two teams, if go with Team Guardiola, if go with Team Mourinho. But I'm going to go to win the Premier League this season. I'm going to go with Team Guardiola. I think Manchester City are going to win this season, but let's hold on that and let's talk about Manchester United and why they may not win this Champions League. I keep saying Champions League. This Premier League season. So, Manchester United, they has improved very nicely in different positions in the squad. They brought in Lindelof. They brought in Lukaku. But they brought in Matic. Matic is one hell of a signing. He has won 2 championships in the Premier League. I keep wanting to say Champions League. I don't know why. But he has won 2 Premier Leagues. And he has one hell of a job in Manchester United right now. His job is not only to defend the back line, but his job is also to free Paul Pogba, to let him loose. Paul Pogba this season, with the help of Herrera and Matic, he'll be amazing this season. He'll be amazing. But the problem comes in for me up top. Weird, right? Up top, I think that Lukaku may struggle a little bit. I think that Lukaku may score a lot of goals, but if he gets injured, if he does something, Rashford then comes in. I'm not saying that Rashford is not amazing, but they have a lot of firepower. Don't get me wrong. They score so many goals. But when it comes to crucial moments, I think that Lukaku and Rashford may just choke it. And that's something that happens to players that may not have played a lot. They don't have a lot of experience. Lukaku is a goal machine, but he just lacks that. He lacks that finish quality. Not his first touch. His first touch is also bad, but he can improve on that. I think Lindelof is also a very good addition. He's a really good center back. He needs to improve a lot right now. In the other sense, we have Manchester City. And Manchester City, Guardiola just gels the team together. That's just something that Guardiola does amazingly. The most important part about Manchester City is that if they retain fit company, if they have Vincent Kompany fit throughout the season, they may just have one hell of a season. So Manchester City, all in, if you want to win the Premier League, it's all yours. Manchester City, you are my Premier League champions of 2017-2018. Well done.